are. Come in. Come on in. Come on in. Welcome to Alive. It's good to see you. You look great. You look awesome. I'm making tea. You want some tea? So anyway, I was thinking, you know how there are certain things in life that are just common to everyone, that everyone has in common. They're just fundamental parts of the human experience and the human condition. Death, we know, is one of them. So, kind of thinking that another one of them is sort of the opposite, would be sex is something we all have in common, right? All of us, you know, and none of us would be here unless two people had sex, right? And sex and sexuality are things that I find kind of difficult to talk about. I get a little embarrassed about it. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's because I didn't really have those conversations as a kid. I think some of it is because I spent so long in children's television that I feel like I'm not supposed to have a sex life, you know? I mean, I do have had. Here's your tea. Yeah. So I guess that's my question, is if sex is such an intrinsic part of being a human being, then why is it that sex is so hard to talk about? Yeah. Our guest today is someone who knows a lot about this topic and will certainly have a unique perspective. So why don't we'll just get started talking about sex, baby. We'll talk about you. Okay. All right. So our guest today is Maitland Ward, who is a very successful Hollywood actress. She started on The Bold and the Beautiful, but you probably know her as Rachel from Boy Meets World. Yeah, exactly. And she's also the author of this book here, Rated X, which details her journey from, kind of Disney girl next door to an award-winning adult film actress. Yeah, so, right, the porn industry. So she will definitely know a lot about sex and sexuality and sexy stuff, and I'm really excited to talk to her, but also a little bit nervous, to be honest, because as we said, conversations around sex are not always the easiest to have. But she's great, and she's here. Okay. Here we go. Hi, Maitland.
Hi.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you? Thank you so much for stopping by. We totally appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely.
You're the best. So, right. So, I'm thrilled that you're here, but I was just saying before you showed up that I'm a little nervous, just because,
You're nervous? Why are you nervous?
I am just a bit, just a wee. Just because sex is not always something. Sexuality, it's not something I'm always just super comfortable talking about. It's not something I'm conditioned to speak casually or in depth about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so we were thrilled to have you here. Maybe you can shed some light on and some perspective on why that is for so many people. Sex is the most common thing. Sex is something that everyone has in common. No one would be here without sex. Like, your parents totally did it. They might even still do it. Like, it's a thing. Like, it's the thing. Yeah. And yet conversations around sex are hard. So what do you think? Why is that? Why are conversations about sex and sexuality often so difficult to have?
Well, it's true. And I think our generation, and of course generations before, are just very much conditioned not to talk about sex because it's something taboo. Right. It's something that you should be embarrassed about. I mean, I remember being young and not being able to even say vagina without laughing. Like it was like just.
I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could do it.
You can't say it to
Should I try it?
Let's see you say vagina. Now don't say like kitty or anything.
Yeah. No, I got you.
A real word. I want the real word.
Vagina. I got it. That's not a problem. That's not a problem. We're gonna be fine.
We'll try for penis later because that's a whole other level.
Right.
But no, but it's funny that you say that you're nervous, but you want to talk to me about it today. I guess you feel somewhat comfortable to talk to me about it. And I think that's true for a lot of people that I find, like people who are interested in talking about sex, but talking about porn, talking about things they think are taboo, but they're very interested in. That they're always very like, they want to know, but they're like afraid to ask like the real sex people that they consider like the scary taboo porn people, and they feel like it's like a separate thing from them, but they feel like they can talk to me and I can kind of be a go-between because they've seen me in their house every Friday night for Boy Meets World or whatever they've seen me on and know me. So I'm more of a comfortable voice to, ask questions and they love it. They love to know about it. And I think by the end of this, you're going to love to know about sex and porn.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I don't already love to know about it, but it's just, again, it's hard to have that conversation. I totally related to something you just said, by the way. People feel remarkably comfortable talking to me about certain things too, because I was in their living rooms as children, and I have a feeling you and I actually do have a lot in common. Surprising amount in common, but we'll get to that. But you were saying we're sort of conditioned to think that talking about sex is a taboo thing and not something we should do, right? I mean, it's not a conversation, at least that I got in school, at least not in a way that was, that addressed sex as a whole. You know what I mean? It certainly didn't include any conversation about like intimacy or pleasure or connection or anything like that. If anything, it was just sort of framed like a super duper forbidden event, something you should avoid at all costs, which of course made me as an adolescent, it made it the only thing I thought about forever, But, and I grew up very Catholic. I don't know, so my sex talk was like 5 minutes. It was 5 incredibly awkward minutes. So I do think it is kind of a little bit about how we're conditioned growing up, right?
Oh, absolutely. And it gets in our brains. And you touched on something saying it made you think about it all the time because it was such a taboo thing. Yeah. Which, I mean, I think if there was much more open conversations and health classes that taught about, like you were saying, intimacy and pleasure, and that it's not this scary thing. We need to be safe. We need to be smart. We need to handle it, handle the situation right. But it's a wonderful thing that people should enjoy and look forward to, but not like the taboo element of it is just making people, crazy inside,
Right.
They don't know what it is really. They and a lot of times porn teaches people about sex, and that's not like what I want to do or what I want to educate people like this, but like with porn scenes and stuff, and people blame the porn industry for like, well, they teach kids and stuff how to have sex and it's not right. It's all these extreme situations and stuff. Well, they should be teaching sex and all of this in school and they're, growing up. So they are, well equipped with information and stuff and aren't going to the internet to see something, taboo and get the information there when they can't filter it correctly, like when they're learning about it.
People are learning how to sex from their experiences of pornography.
Yeah.
That's happening, right?
It's happening.
Can porn be educational in that it could include some of those missing things?
Yes.
That we were discussing earlier, like, what do we say? Connection and intimacy and respect and pleasure and all that stuff. Like, is that even possible? Like, could porn be used to do that?
I actually think that would be wonderful. I don't think people trust porn and the porn stars to do this. And that's not right, because I know porn stars don't want to have kids, going on their scenes and learning, all crazy, acrobatic antics and stuff. And that's what sex is. But I think there is an element that could educate, and kids growing up, when they get to be the age of where sex is coming into their lives and they're interested in stuff and, are going to explore on their own anyway. I think they need to have the conversations, especially, I think porn can really educate too about, if they would allow us more, about being safe and stuff, because people think porn is such a, like, oh my gosh, disease and craziness and everything, right. But we have to like test for STDs every 2 weeks. We have to, have consent on the set. Like you say your do's and don'ts. There's so much like consent and conversation around sex. And it's funny because I used to be like you too growing up. Sex was very like, I was so, nervous about it. And again, from like our generation and stuff. But now that I'm like in the world of sex, I never thought I could be like this, but I can talk so openly about it, and there's no like shame behind it. And it's such like a freeing, liberating thing to feel very like, empowered just to be able to talk and not to, be nervous about it or be shy about it.
Oh, I can't even imagine having that kind of confidence around it. I just can't. But you said something that just blew my mind. You're saying within the sex industry, there's all this consent and everyone gets tested every 2 weeks and all that stuff. That sounds like a lot safer sex than what most people are having.
Oh, absolutely. You know what? You are having so much safer sex within the porn community than if you go out. Like I'll see girls and stuff, they'll say, oh, I could never like be in porn. It's so gross or whatever. And they're hooking up with random men at bars on like Friday nights and they don't know anything about them. It's like, we have to like compare tests and consent and all of this stuff. And so the pool and the community is very, very much safer than it is just going out in public. Like I heard somebody, another girl said, oh my gosh, I went to the doctor and I got tested, not a porn girl, but said I got STD tested and then I wanted to do it again. I don't know, something happened. She was with some guy or whatever. And the doctor's like, well, you just had a test like 6 months ago. And I'm like, 6 months? How can you wait 6 months to have a test? Right. I forget. Like, people aren't always like in that mindset of doing that and knowing like your stats.
Right. That's so interesting.
Not that everybody has to go out all the time and do it because, but it's good to be comfortable with asking for tests and stuff too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's stuff that you don't talk about. No way. You know what I mean? That's stuff you just try to push out of mind. But for you, your sexual health is totally top of mind, and it's totally something that you're aware of, and that's better.
Yeah. There's like a shame, like if somebody does have an STD, and I know, of course, some are much less dangerous than others, of course, but like say the less dangerous ones, if someone gets a STD, and they feel so shamed about it. But would you feel ashamed going to the doctor if you got bronchitis or something, or if you, contracted something else that's treatable with antibiotics and you can, it's something that's just happens sometimes. You get an infection or you get sick so certain things do happen. So I think the taboo behind it is just really harmful because it leads to people not getting results that they need and not getting the medication they need, and it gets out of hand like anything. What can you imagine, like having pneumonia and not being treated for it?
Right. And I think you're right. I think that's just fear and shame.
Yeah.
So a couple of years ago, I got signed up for like 1 million Comic-Cons, and I didn't really know what to expect. I just kind of imagined an endless sea of Funko Pops and like a line of stormtroopers waiting to go to the bathroom, which, okay, isn't wrong. But what I didn't expect was this warm, supportive community full of people just getting deeply, unapologetically weird, and no one drags you for it. In fact, everyone is celebrating you for it. These places are really special and really, really, really cool. Now imagine that on a boat. Yes, I'm talking about Comic-Con The Cruise. From January 30th to February 3rd, 2026, sail from Tampa to Nassau on the Celebrity Constellation. It's 4 days at sea. You can meet and hang out with fan-favorite celebs, enjoy one-of-a-kind intimate experiences you can't find at other conventions, and you can skip all the lines that the landlubbers have to deal with. There's theme nights, cosplay, artist alley, which is always my favorite, Panels, workshops, late night conversations, parties. It's a big floating community where you can totally be yourself. Food, accommodation, entertainment are included. The only thing you have to do is show up, have fun, and be yourself with your people. Check out the 2026 talent lineup, including host Felicia Day and a slew of creators celebrating fantasy, sci-fi, and more. Head to comicconthecruise.com/alive to learn more and book your cabin. And don't forget to use code ALIVE for $250 off per cabin on new reservations. Comic-Con The Cruise, the ultimate fan adventure. What kind of conversations can we be having that can help alleviate some of that shame around sex?
I think just conversation. I think it's just talking about it. And it doesn't have to be a big deal or a big set apart thing.
Yeah.
And it feels like sex is like the last frontier of taboo. Like we can talk about a lot of things now.
Yeah.
And people still get embarrassed about, just talking about sex. But I feel like the younger generations, though, are much more open to talking about stuff because the reactions that I get from people who are in their 40s or 50s or whatever, porn is like the most shocking, rattling kind of thing to them. But if I talk to a 25-year-old, they're like, oh yeah, we love this and this, and I like watching this one, and I like this performer, and so it's like they're much more open to that. And I think it's because there's so much more of the internet generation, like anybody under 40.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
But we didn't have the availability.
No,
of it.
Not at all. I remember. When I was a kid, porn was boobies and heinies in a magazine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like anything harder core than that was like rare. And boobies and heinies in motion was like impossible to find. Like that wasn't a thing.
See, okay, breasts and ass.
Boobies and heinies. Boobies and heinies, Maitland. Boobies and heinies. I'm trying here.
I think that was a movie once.
I think, but you know what I mean? Like I remember, you could occasionally find a scrambled channel between channels.
Oh yes! Oh my God!
Oh right! Oh my God! Right!
Spice Channel.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, it was the Spice Channel.
The scrambled channel.
That was the scrambled. But you couldn't. I don't remember ever being able to really see anything. But my imagination would go insane, and I was like, I just saw boobies and heinies in motion.
How was it a scrambled channel? Like, why did that happen?
Yeah. Why?
Do you
Why
guys
was
know
that?
why?
Does that mean it was always out there waiting and we just didn't have the technology to access it?
Maybe it was aliens.
Maybe it was aliens trying to teach us things. But yeah, but like you were saying, it's generational, right? There's a generational divide about comfort level with sex. And I'm obviously on one side of the discussion, but the internet, right? The internet changed that galactically and exponentially. Right now, it's actually pornography is essentially ubiquitous. I think it would be almost impossible to avoid porn. It is just everywhere. So, what do you think it's going, Maitland? Do you think it will become normalized, or?
I think so, and I think it's important for it to be normalized in a way in order for it to be a safe, respected industry to the public. Mm-hmm. I think people still think of it as like such a set apart thing, less than they used to, definitely much less than they used to. But I feel like the kind of productions that I do and are very heavily scripted productions.
Right.
They very much focus on a mainstream type of story that has sex in it. So we do the hardcore sex scenes, but I have more dialogue than I've had in Hollywood, like just monologues and things. So I think really that is the frontier, like at least that I aim for, is to have like that mainstream crossover. It's interesting because I actually had a producer from Boy Meets World say, don't say mainstream and porn separately because you're an actress. Different mediums, and that's like separating it or making it other than. And I thought that was a really interesting thing. And I try to, mentally, psychologically, like, don't do that. Even though I'm trying to like say, make sense to people. It really, I hope that one day the movies and can be seen like mainstream, because it really, porn is mainstream. Everybody's watching it. People know, like, people watch it more than so many shows. Like,
Right. Sure. Depictions of human beings having sex is like an absolute constant throughout human creativity.
yeah.
There's a cave somewhere with boobies and heinies. You know what I mean? Like, it's an absolute constant. And I like what you're saying about giving that context, giving that story, including the rest of the human experience
Yes.
in the
Yes.
pornography, I guess. And then you
Yes.
can include some of those other things we were talking about, like connection and intimacy and all of these other things. And one thing you talk about is including the female perspective more. And yeah, a more balanced breakfast of porn.
Yes,
You know,
yes, a balanced meal. That's what you want.
right.
But no, it's very true. That's an excellent way to put it. I really think having a legitimate story and having, actors and chemistry between people, and like having that story that you focus on, and then seeing the sex, I just think it adds more to it, of course, but it adds more in the fact that you're not just seeing, oh, sex, and then you can turn it off. It's like this terrible thing that you laugh at. And it's people like to say, oh, porn is so bad. Like, and there are a lot of bad scenes out there. There are.
Sure.
But there are filmmakers who really want to do good stuff and are really trying. And I hope that kind of stuff gets pushed to the forefront and recognized more and more. Because we're seeing in shows on like Netflix and things like that, these shows that are this close to being porn.
Game of Thrones.
I mean, yes.
I remember I was watching Game of Thrones and it was like, when I was 14, this was porn. For sure.
Yes.
And now it's just HBO.
I know. It's totally.
On the surface, this interview, I think for some people who might be seeing it, they might think, oh, well, this is going to tear apart the fabric of space and time, right? This is Steve from Blue's Clues and Maitland Ward, award-winning adult film actress, having a conversation. But I think there are ways in which you and I are super similar, Maitland. And it occurs to me that we both inhabit extremes on a graph of media expectation. You know what I mean? Of what people expect us to be because of our media presence, right? Our essentially our jobs, right? So from on my end of that graph, I feel like people expect me sometimes to be Mr. Rogers, and they expect me to be this like really like implausibly pure, wonderful avatar of the Buddha who rides a unicorn and farts rainbows all day or something like that. And of course I am not that. I'm totally not that. Like, I'm a pretty nice guy, but I'm like a normal person. I'm like deeply flawed, neurotic guy. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like a normal person. And I feel like you might know what that's like on the other end of that graph, working in the porn industry. Like, what sort of expectations do you perceive people have about you?
Well, first of all, in the porn industry, they think that I either like am on heavy drugs. I had major bankruptcy problems. I didn't just go into it because I wanted to, but I did. I went into it because I loved it and I wanted to, and I just found that I loved performing, and I loved the kind of scripts that I could act out in this way. And so I think people see me first as, okay, the girl Rachel in Boy Meets World, she's this certain way. And then I shock them and say, no, but I want to do all this, which is totally feels like polar opposite, but it actually feels like me as a total person. Because am I the girl at Rachel in Boy Meets World? Yes, I am. And then I'm also this other person who's all one person. And I think setting apart pieces of our personalities and making one element of it what we're known for is hard for like individuals like us, because you're right, you want to be a total person, and you are so many different things of your personality, but people try to set you into one thing.
Yeah, just like anybody else.
Yeah, just like anybody else.
So you were saying the industry itself is just filled with like normal, hardworking people and stuff like that. And something that I've heard a lot is that sex work is work, and
Yes. It's a lot of work sometimes.
right, that's where I was going. Your job looks very difficult. Like as someone who
Yes.
spent time on a set, your job looks extremely difficult,
It's
right?
very athletic too.
and very athletic.
I had somebody say one time, it's interesting because, porn and performing in adult films and stuff is using your body as an artistic instrument,
Interesting.
right? And they said, well, like if like football players and sports players use their bodies, they're not using their minds in their chosen craft or chosen sport, and like artists can use whatever they use. They paint naked bodies and everything, and so it's weird that there's a taboo because it's sex, but our bodies like are a vessel for creating art.
That's fascinating. That's never occurred to me before, this idea of sex as an expressive event. So I have a friend who's a professional hair and makeup artist, and she once told me that I have very nice skin and asked me what I do to take care of it. And I said, literally, what do you mean? It's soap. I use 1 bar of soap for everything. And she was horrified, to say the least, and mentioned that I'm not getting any younger and that I am trying to be all over the internet right now and that I should maybe pay more attention to my skincare. I was like, maybe you're right. And I keep hearing about OneSkin from women, from men. It's known for cult favorites like OS1 Body, OS1 Face, OS1 Eye. OneSkin stands out for their science-first approach, delivering hydration, barrier support, and powerful longevity benefits in a single step, which is great because I'm not trying to do all that stuff. And at the core is their patented OS1 peptide, the first ingredient proven to target senescent cells, the root cause of wrinkles and loss of elasticity. Now, all of OneSkin's products are designed to layer seamlessly or replace multiple steps in your routine, making skin health easier. Good for me, and smarter at every age. Also good for me. OneSkin is the world's first skin longevity company targeting cellular aging to keep your skin and scalp looking and acting younger for longer. For a limited time, you can try OneSkin with 15% off using code ALIVE at oneskin.co. That's 15% off oneskin.co with code ALIVE. And they might ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show. Tell them we sent you. Try OneSkin today. I mean, hey, we look great. Let's keep it that way. How do you connect to your creativity through sex, through your sexuality?
It's very much an expressive, like an artistic expression. I think I remember the first time that I did stuff, like it wasn't professional porn, it was for my own stuff. And I was like taking my own sexual journey of discovery and like who I wanted to be with my fans before I did it like on professional sites. I was doing it like, through content on my own. And so when I first did the first scene that I filmed, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this and I'm going to see how it goes. And I just like went for it. And the professional guy that I had hired to do this scene with me for my stuff, he was like, the one thing he remembered about it was I wasn't nervous. That was he was like, I thought you were going to be nervous. And I was just like, nope.
Like the confidence that I am imagining that you possess in order to do what you do is absolutely flabbergasting, flummoxing, and astounding to me. Okay. Like I can't even imagine having that kind of confidence, which I think is interesting because I was reading in your book that you said as a younger person, you weren't crazy about your body or the way you looked or like one thing that really hit me is you were talking about, you just thought you were too tall, right?
Yeah.
And you were saying, so you like put heavy things on your head to try to get smaller, and it's like, oh my God, I felt that because I'm a short person, right? And all I wanted was to change my body.
Yeah. Everybody, yeah.
So how has doing all of this, how does that relate to to those insecurities that you used to have, and where are they now?
I mean, my insecurities are so much less. I mean, but when I was younger, I could never have done this because I would be too self-conscious all the time.
Right.
But when I started taking this like sexual journey, really for myself, and then my content that I was filming along the way, I kind of just got swept up in it. And I was like, because I started off just, selling content to do like, I always like to do like sexy Playboy type photos and stuff. But then the porn journey inched a little bit each way. I said, okay, let me try girls because, I like doing stuff with girls. So I'll do a little slumber party things. And then it just like snowballed because I just enjoyed it so much. And I found I was good at it. And I can't even explain like there wasn't a certain point where I said, I'm confident I can do this. It was like more like just freeing yourself a little by little. And that includes like getting naked in the realest form and being that vulnerable really just helped me blossom because there was nothing to fear anymore. Like everything was out there. Everything was out there.
I don't even like being naked by myself. I mean, I can't imagine. I can't imagine. I simply can't imagine,
Tell me one time a guy actor in Hollywood, he goes, you know what? Men in Hollywood, they're not against porn. They would do it. Everyone's just a weenie. They just don't want to, they're just too self-conscious about themselves.
I mean, doing porn, I can't even bring myself to talk dirty. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's my favorite thing.
That's what?
Dirty talk. But that's kind of like what my bread and butter was.
How do you, I couldn't, I don't, you know what it is, Maitland? Maybe I could have in another life because I was a voiceover guy forever. Like that's what I did.
Perfect for dirty talk. That's
but I feel like because of my old job, I'm not allowed to do that. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, I feel like that, like I would never be, I think it's vestigial from how I evolved professionally. Like I wouldn't even know how to do it. Like, I feel like if I tried to do it, it would have to be like super nice guy, like, hey baby girl, I'm so valuing your perspective right now. Like it would be like that kind of thing.
I think that's pretty sexy. Your value, I think it's good. But I think it's a little bit different in like your personal dirty talking. Sometimes it can feel, it's a little silly in your personal life. But like I feel going on porn sets and doing this, it's like I'm able to do all of that stuff because it's for a professional job and it's a place where I can like do everything that I want to do, and it's the other people in the scene are totally into that, and it's all part of that. So I feel it's a really freeing experience to explore sexually. I really do.
I'm getting that about you. Like
dirty talk though.
What's that?
I can hear the grit in your voice.
Well, no, I mean, I think maybe, you've really opened my mind a lot here. I think maybe I should drop an OnlyFans where I just do that, right? Where I just say validating things in dirty talk voice, You
really could. You really could.
Like, what have you done to your hair? It just looks absolutely fantastic. Don't change a thing. Like,
I think girls would love that, actually.
No, I'm totally listening. Please tell me everything about Brenda at work. Yeah, I feel like I could do that. I
think you could. I totally
Well, Maitland, this has been really great, and I do feel a little more comfortable talking about some of this stuff. I think it's because I used to be on kids' TV and people tell me, oh, you were a big part of our childhoods. I feel like I'm not allowed to talk about sex or have a sex life, I know that I am, but sometimes it feels that way, and you bring such a joy. There's a lot of joyful energy around the way you talk about this stuff, and such a comfort level to it that you honestly have made this a little easier for me. So
I love that.
This has just been great, Maitland, and you're a joy. So thank you so much. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you so much.
All right. And tell us, and your book is coming out in paperback with a new title and new content, right?
Yes.
What is the new title?
Picture and everything. My Escape from Hollywood. So you can pre-order it now on all the places. And it's coming out September 10th, but the Rated X, the hardback of is out everywhere now.
Well, thank you so much for being here. And this has been really enlightening. And you have a great day.
Oh, thanks.
Bye, Maitland.
Bye.
Let's go outside. All right. You know, I gotta say, all in all, that wasn't so bad. You know? That was like a lot better than I thought it would be. I honestly feel like I would be more comfortable having a conversation about sex and sexuality after that. I don't know. What do you think? How about you? Yeah. Yeah. Well, listen, that was great. And sincerely, thank you so much for doing this with me. It really means a lot. Oh, I gotta get my tea. I can't see shit. Alive with Steve Burns is a Lemonada Media original. If you haven't subscribed to Lemonada Premium yet, now's the perfect time. You can listen to the show completely ad-free, plus you'll unlock exclusive bonus content from me as I reflect on this episode. Just press subscribe on Apple Podcasts, head to lemonadapremium.com to subscribe on any other app, or listen ad-free on Amazon Music with your Prime membership. That's lemonadapremium.com. Alive is hosted by me, Steve Burns, and produced by Jeremy Slutskin. Our editor is Christopher Champion Morgan. Our associate producer is Akshaz Tharabailu. Audio engineering by James Sparber. Lemonada's SVP of weekly programming is Steve Nelson. Executive producers are Jessica Cordover-Kramer, Stephanie Whittles-Wax, and me. We'll see you next week. And you look great, by the way.